Hey everybody, it's TJ here. Welcome to another episode of Smash Ultimate Countdown, the show where we count down the days to the release of Smash Bros. Ultimate for Nintendo Switch on December 7th. We are now less than 2 months away, for those of you who are counting, and I think at this point, we're all counting. I'm coming at you today like I have been every week, breaking down all of the things on the Smash blog, characters, stages, items, assist trophies. We discuss what's old, what's new, related to some stories, personal experiences, and as always, my favorite part is inviting you to join the conversation in the comment section below about anything we discussed today or anything Smash related. And I would also really like to know what kinds of things you would like us to discuss here between now and the time that the game releases. That just about sums it up. Let's get started. Heading up the Smash blog for this week is a character spotlight for the Wii Fit Trainer. Wii Fit Trainer is a returning character who made their first appearance in the last game, Smash Bros. For Wii U and 3DS, and they were announced at the 2013 E3 presentation. Not counting any of the third-party special guest characters, Wii Fit Trainer's announcement as a playable fighter in Smash Bros. Is the one that I found the most surprising, and I think that holds true to present day. I love Wii Fit. I was an early adopter. Fitness has always been an enormous part of my life. I really tried to evangelize that game. Well, it's not so much of a game, but software rather. I thought it was really good on the Wii. It was obviously monumentally successful. It sold Wii's hand over fist, and it got a lot of people playing Wii who fall well outside the category of what you would typically use to describe gamers. For a lot of parents, grandparents, Wii Fit was kind of like that gateway into gaming. So given what a household name Wii Fit became, it just made perfect sense to try to find some kind of representation for Smash Brothers. And who better than your own personal trainer? We do have a few differences for the Wii Fit Trainer's appearance in this one, most notably enhanced details around the eyes. Mr. Sakurai did say that he was a little hesitant to make that adjustment, but because it was a special request from the developers of Wii Fit, he did accommodate that. It's a subtle change, but personally I do think it lends a little bit more humanity to the characters. It makes them seem a little bit less plasticine. It makes them look a little less like an animated Barbie or a Ken doll. All of the Wii Fit Trainer's moves are derived from yoga poses or some of the exercises and activities that you could do in the Wii Fit game. Here in the West, yoga is known predominantly as a form of exercise, so it is somewhat amusing to see these balance and fitness techniques being utilized in a combat capacity, though Wii Fit Trainer is certainly not a pioneer in this regard. Going all the way back to Street Fighter 2, India's Dalsum used his yoga to great fighting effect. He could even produce a yoga flame. Talk about volatile breathing. A little bit of TJ trivia for you. Wii Fit Trainer is the first character that I played as in Smash Bros. For Wii U and 3DS. A demo was made available for the 3DS with a super slimmed down roster. I was the most curious to see how the Wii Fit Trainer played, and was surprised to find just how easily I could assimilate all of those moves into my playstyle. I know on the competitive tier list, Wii Fit Trainer's ranked pretty low, but for casuals just wanting to have a good time, Wii Fit Trainer totally holds up. As I said, the Wii Fit game was a big part of my life. I still use the balance board. I spar competitively, and it's sometimes important to know which weight class I'm in, and it's hard to find a more accurate scale than the Wii Fit balance board. So let me know in the comments section, have you ever used Wii Fit? Did it help get you into shape? Just a fad that came and went? Do you still use it today? In any event, we can count on the Wii Fit Trainer to help keep us all fighting fit when Smash Bros. Ultimate releases this December. Next up on the Smash blog, we have another character highlight. This time we're taking a look at Dr. Mario. Now the first thing that comes to mind for me with Dr. Mario is how the most obvious Echo Fighter is not an Echo Fighter. I understand the justification and the reasoning behind it. The balancing and movesets for Dr. Mario has made a significant enough departure from Mario that it constitutes a completely unique character. The problem that I personally have with it is that it is clearly not a unique character. In fact, I would argue it is the least unique character of all Echo or clone characters. Dr. Mario isn't an alternate version of Mario, it's Mario in a doctor suit. Not much different in my opinion than Mario in a construction outfit or Mario dressed in his wedding best. Dr. Mario does sport more attack and launch power than Mario, but that comes at the expense of recovery. The behavior of his special moves is a little bit different. He has Dr. Tornado, of course, but I suppose it could be argued the signature differentiation is that he throws vitamins instead of fireballs. This is just my personal opinion on this, but I actually do not think Dr. Mario should appear in a separate character slot. I don't even think Dr. Mario should be an Echo Fighter. I think Dr. Mario should be an alternate skin of Mario, and the vitamins are conformed to behave in the exact same way that the fireballs do, reducing the change to something purely aesthetic. Mario served as the base for at least two characters, Luigi and then also Dr. Mario, and as the iterations of the game progress, Luigi, while still playing very similar to Mario, has definitely emerged as his own unique character, and Dr. Mario has kind of gone that same route, but he's still very much Mario. In my opinion, and please give me some pushback on this if you don't agree, we don't need two Marios in Smash Bros. Now I can already hear some of you out there going, but TJ, old chap, I don't know why all of you are British all of a sudden. TJ, how can you oppose the appearance of multiple Marios when you celebrate the appearance of every single Link in the chain? And honestly, I think it just comes down to personal perspective. Each version of Link feels distinct. It's even gotten to the point where each version of Link is not even the same Link. Because Legend of Zelda is my favorite series and Link is my favorite character, being able to play as different versions has a lot of appeal to me, and I understand that there are some people out there who might feel that same way about Mario. So I'm not trying to take your character away, just expressing my views. I have put away countless hours in Dr. Mario just like the next guy. So, let me turn it around. Do you think Dr. Mario should have been presented as an Echo Fighter? I mean, he wouldn't be the only Echo Fighter that doesn't share all the same moves with his original counterpart. Chrom, for example, is an echo of Roy, but he does share one of Ike's moves. So we know there doesn't have to be perfect parity between an Echo Fighter and their base character. Do you think Nintendo made the right decision by keeping Dr. Mario as a unique and distinct character? Or, like me, do you think that Dr. Mario should be reduced to a skin of Mario? I look forward to reading your comments. The musical selection for this week comes from the Fire Emblem series. The track is entitled ID or ID. I'm not exactly sure, but one thing I am sure of is that the first time I heard this song, or at least that I'm aware of hearing it, was from the soundtrack of Smash Bros. 4. I can usually recognize any song, know exactly what game it's from without too much thought. But when I first heard this track, I immediately stopped what I was doing, ran over, checked to see where it came from, learned it was a Fire Emblem track, and in that moment, I became a Fire Emblem fan. I'm only half kidding. I love this song. I might not have time for a 200-hour JRPG in my life, but I sure do appreciate the opportunity to listen to that incredible music in Smash Bros. You too can give this a trial run at smashbrothers.com under the music tab, and I personally look forward to hearing more tracks from the Fire Emblem series. The stage featured on this week's Smash Blog is none other than my personal favorite, the Boxing Ring. The Boxing Ring is home stage to the reigning video game champion of the world, Little Mac. For such a simple setup, this stage has a lot of stuff going on. It has this really cool digital crawl in the back that has a character profile for every single fighter in Smash 4. I'm assuming that's likely to return for the Smash Ultimate stage. I'm curious to see what some of the newcomers and returning veterans who did not appear in the previous iteration of the game, what their cool little nickname is. I think it's just such a really cool touch to give everybody this little fighting moniker. Nintendo really went the extra mile to give this stage its own unique flair, and given that it's really just essentially a box, just a platform center stage, and yet it can conjure up such a strong and favorable impression on me. It's also one of the stages, if not the stage, that is most intrinsically connected to the character that inspired the stage. Punch-Out only takes place in one location, in a boxing ring. I love Legend of Zelda, as I said, it's my favorite series, but you get to kind of trot all over Hyrule, so there's all kinds of different locations. Sure, there's some significant ones like Hyrule Castle, but the connection between the boxing ring and Little Mac is as tightly connected as any character can be to their stage. Let's cover a few of the key highlights. You can bounce off the ropes and that'll launch you super high into the air, and you can also knock down the lights. In the Smash blog, Nintendo's a little mysterious about what will happen if you do that. They say you have to wait and see. I imagine it might be something a little similar to what it was in Smash Bros. For Wii U, but for those of you who don't know, I won't spoil the surprise. There's also another really cool thing about this stage. It has two different versions. If you hold the L button when selecting the stage, you'll get the Punch-Out version of the stage. I can't wait to step into the ring again on December 7th. The next item on the Smash blog is an assist trophy, this time for Zero from the Mega Man series. I've been a fan of the Mega Man games for as long as I can remember. I first played them on the NES, which were punishingly difficult for a little kid, so I never really progressed that far. The first time I really sank my teeth into a Mega Man game was Mega Man X for the Super Nintendo, which happens to be the first appearance of Zero. Don't get me wrong, Mega Man was amazing in Mega Man X. It's actually my favorite version of the character, but as soon as I saw Zero, I was like, I want to play as that guy! The hair, the sword, bright red color. Now Zero's my kind of robot. I know a lot of people were hoping to get Zero as a playable character. I think he works perfect as an assist trophy myself. He'll zip around the stage dealing out damage with that awesome Z-blade of his. In the last version of Smash, we did get a really cool Zero Mii Fighter costume, so here's hoping that makes a return. Nintendo Switch just got the first Mega Man installment in quite some time. I don't know, I think it might be the first new Mega Man game in like 8 years. Are you a Mega Man fan? Are you happy Zero's returning as an assist trophy? Or do you wish that he made the jump to playable character this time around? Hit me with those big beautiful comments. You know where. And the final entry for the week is another character spotlight, this time for the Water Dark type Pokemon, Greninja. One of the most interesting things to me about Greninja is Mr. Sakurai had to begin development on the character for Smash Bros. Before the X and Y game actually even released. It's really fun for me to imagine some of the interactivity that goes on between the different departments of Nintendo and even some of the third-party companies as they're trying to coordinate how to get these characters into the game. Obviously, he needed to be provided with some concept art and a general move list of what this character could do, but because the animations in Pokemon aren't really that dynamic, dynamic, I imagine a lot of it needed to be constructed. This character appeared for the first time, of course, in Smash Bros. 4, and by the time that the game released, Nintendo fans everywhere had already played Pokemon X and Y, and nobody questioned in the least that this is Greninja, and this is exactly how he would move. He fights like a ninja, he's got his water shuriken. Personally, I cannot get around that disgusting tongue scarf. I think that the design of the character is pretty cool. A frog ninja is an awesome idea. But that tongue, I don't know. It's just too gross for me. Another really interesting change of note for Greninja in Smash Bros. Ultimate is his final smash is now an Ash Greninja transformation. This is a reference, of course, to the really close bond that Ash Ketchum had with his Greninja in the anime, which is just another one of the ongoing examples about how the anime is influencing Pokemon presentation in Smash Bros. Greninja, you may remember sometime back, was voted the #1 most popular Pokemon in Japan, and I think in large part that has to do with his super close connection to Ash Ketchum. Greninja is, of course, the final evolution form of Froakie. He joins the ranks of a number of other fully evolved Pokemon: Charizard, Lucario, Mewtwo. He's also the newest Pokemon entry in Smash Bros. A lot of people have been speculating that perhaps we'll see a Pokemon representative from Sun and Moon. We already know that there's a lot of Alolan representation in the form of Pokeballs. Solgaleo and Lunala both appear in the game as Pokemon handy helpers, but we have yet to receive any playable character from Sun or Moon. Of course, there are rumors spinning all over the web. Decidueye is probably the standout favorite, and personally, that's the one who I would want to see in the game, because we have yet to have a fully evolved grass-type Pokemon. Although there does seem to be a lot more heat around Incineroar, it's easy to imagine how that character could translate into Smash Bros. Not a whole lot of love for Poplio. Pokemon Sun and Moon is the first generation of Pokemon that I never got around to playing, so I don't personally have a very strong connection to any of those characters, but I'm really curious to know what you think. If you got to pick a Pokemon from Sun and Moon to stand as the representative of that generation in Smash Bros., who would it be? Let me know in the comments section below. And that, my dear friends, wraps up another episode of Smash Ultimate Countdown. So glad you decided to join me. I'm really enjoying passing the time between now and December 7th with all of you. I hope this is helping ease the weight just a little bit for you. If you enjoy this kind of content, you can help me out by dropping a like, sharing this with a Smash-loving friend. You may have noticed that Nintendo Wire just crossed the 60,000 subscriber threshold. To the 60,000 of you that consider this channel and its content worthy of your subscription, thank you so much. If you have not yet subscribed to the channel, please accept my personal invitation to join the family. Connecting with our player pals at home is really my most favorite thing about YouTube. I love interacting with all of you week after week. Let me know what you think about this episode, and please drop any suggestions you have of what topics you'd like to see covered here on Smash Ultimate Countdown as we count down the final weeks until the game's release. To all of my patrons out there, thank you so much. I love you guys. You make this all worthwhile. Hope to see you all again next time. Thanks for playing.